I was betrayed by my cheating wife, and I feel no pity for her when karma destroyed her. Lately, I started suspecting that my wife might be cheating on me. I have no concrete evidence, so I do not want to accuse her or bring it up if I am wrong, and also do not want to give her a reason to hide everything even better. It is just small details and intuition. Approximately 4 months ago, she started exercising more and began paying much more attention to her appearance. She is very attractive but never wore much makeup or styled her hair in intricate hairstyles. Additionally, she started guarding her phone, which, as I know, is a red flag. Usually, we freely used each other's phones, but now she does not let it out of her hands. And if I ask her to give me her phone to take a photo, she tells me to use mine. She also started staying late at work more often, and over the past 4 months went on several business trips. She does not initiate intimacy and limits herself to short kisses. I tried initiating intimacy several times, but she either refused me or was so disengaged that it was even worse than an outright refusal. I brought up the topic of the lack of intimate life some time ago, and she explained it by fatigue, motherhood, work, and exercising. She promised to try to fix the situation, kissed me that evening, but nothing changed. I started wondering if it might be some kind of midlife crisis. There's a guy at her work who I think might be the cause of the problem. My wife used to talk about him often, but several months ago abruptly stopped mentioning him, though I know they continue working together. He is married, has children, and mentioned that he has marriage problems. I saw him a couple of times, and he clearly ignored me. He is not in as good physical shape as I am, but dresses well, is sociable, and likes to drink. My wife sometimes says she wishes I drank too. I finished high school, while he has a master's degree. He also earns significantly more than me. I train fighters, and I really enjoy it, but this job does not bring in much money. My wife thinks I could earn more working in another field. She is not obsessed with money, but I understand her desire for financial stability. Recently, she went on a work trip to a tropical resort with this colleague and the CEO. I am haunted by the thought that she spent a lot of time with this colleague. I want to confirm my suspicions, but do not want to cause a scandal by accusing her without evidence. Overall, our marriage was good, despite some ups and downs. One friend advised me to start gathering evidence discreetly, but I am uncomfortable invading her personal space. If she really is cheating on me, I cannot imagine how I could stay with her. I am deeply involved in our children's lives, and the thought that I will see them only partially breaks my heart. I would appreciate any advice on how to handle this situation. Update 1. I gained access to our phone account and noticed many messages at night to a specific number. I plan to find out who it belongs to. After this discovery, I experienced strong emotions. Last night I tried initiating intimacy, but my wife refused, citing fatigue and a headache. We discussed our relationship, and she promised to improve, as she had done before. This morning, she mentioned a possible trip to Vegas with college friends whom I have never met. I'm starting to notice a pattern, but am not sure yet. In the end, I decided on surveillance and looked at detailed call and message logs. I saw that hundreds of messages were sent late at night to the same number. I called it from a payphone, and the phone was answered by one of her colleagues, that very one I suspected. I managed to access her phone while she was in the shower, and I discovered that the correspondence with this number had been deleted. Moreover, this number was saved in her contacts under a female name. Now, I am very concerned about that business trip where this guy was present. I had to leave the house to calm down. I collected my thoughts and returned, but do not know what to do next. If I confront her with what I have, she will likely just find some explanation. I am not sure whether I should silently continue gathering evidence or present her with the facts immediately. I am furious. I am torn by anger toward her, but at the same time, I have a strong desire to deal with this guy. I will need to exert all my effort to restrain myself. I am afraid my wife will only admit to harmless flirting, and I will not have enough evidence to make her tell the whole truth. What is the best way to proceed? I plan to stay awake at night when she usually texts him, then interrupt her and ask who she is messaging to check if she lies to me. So, I suggest writing in the comments right now what you would advise the author, and we move on to the next update. Update 2. Last night, when we went to bed, I pretended to be asleep and waited to see if my wife would get up to use her phone. That is what happened. A little after midnight, she got up, went to another room, and closed the door behind her. I waited a couple of minutes, then quickly opened the door and entered, saying I could not sleep, and asked what she was doing. I caught her in the act of typing a message and got next to her too quickly for her to delete anything. I saw her slowly trying to hide the phone. She said she also could not sleep and was just texting a friend. I had a plan, and I immediately proceeded to execute it. I moved closer, started kissing her, and asked if she wanted to make love. As expected, she refused, so I started laughing and playfully tickling her, joking that she was probably more interested in her texting friend. Then I lightly pushed her down, trying to snatch the phone, pretending it was all just fun. In her eyes, I saw panic. She tried to grab the phone, but I turned away, holding it out of reach, still laughing and acting like I was just playing. I told her I was going to call this friend and ask why she was not letting my wife sleep. My wife exclaimed, "Please, do not call her." I continued, opened the chat, and saw a message. "Can't wait to see you tomorrow." I pressed the call button, and after an endless wait, the guy answered. Not knowing what to say, I just hung up. Then I started reading the messages aloud in front of my wife and asked why she was sending such text to a man in the middle of the night. She said she did not know. I asked if she had anything to say, but she remained silent. Then I told her I had seen the phone records and knew about all her nightly texting with this guy. She started crying and apologizing. I remained calm. I explained that the next few minutes would be decisive. If she did not tell the whole truth, the consequences would be serious. She admitted that she had been flirting with a colleague who had marriage problems and that it had progressed to explicit flirting. She claimed nothing physical had happened, but I was afraid she would only admit to what I already knew. I told her that if she could not be completely honest, she should pack her things and leave. She agreed, crying and apologizing. Before leaving for her mother's, she asked if I was going to leave her. I answered that we would discuss it later because it was already night. She left, and I have not seen her since. Although she tried to contact me, I just turned off my phone. Here is my plan. I want to find a family psychologist and make an appointment, pretending that I want to try to fix things, but actually using it as a way to properly organize the separation process. I recorded our conversation last night in case she tries to accuse me of something. I asked a lawyer friend, and he confirmed that such a recording is legal in our state. I do not think she would make false accusations, but I want to be cautious, especially considering I was a professional fighter in the past. Any accusation of violence against me, given my height, physical attributes, and profession, could be disastrous, especially when it comes to child custody. Therefore, I plan to record all our future interactions for my own safety. I am completely devastated. My family is falling apart, and the thought that I will see my children only 50% of the time kills me. Despite suspecting it, the betrayal still shocks me. The hardest thing is realizing that this is only the beginning. I want to deal with this man, but I must control myself. In one of the messages, he called me an animal, and I know he is afraid of me. Despite lacking higher education and high-paying jobs, I am proud that I always strive for knowledge and self-improvement. I may not be the smartest person, but I am definitely not stupid. I will write an update when the situation changes. Right now, I do not even know what advice would help me. Update 3. I am grateful for all the support I have received during this difficult period. My lawyer friend recommended a family law attorney to me. Moreover, this attorney had experienced infidelity, and, according to my friend, such cases allow him to get a kind of revenge. He is very flexible regarding payment and genuinely wants to help. Perhaps this is at least some positive aspect. Now, about the main thing. My wife admitted to cheating. She said it all started with flirting, then developed into an emotional connection, but insisted that nothing physical had happened. I immediately knew this was a lie, and eventually she admitted that they had indeed been intimate, which coincided with when she stopped being intimate with me. I learned far more details than I could bear. Their affair was very passionate. Saying that it broke me is an understatement. I am struggling with my emotions and can barely hold a single thought in my head. I told my wife it would be better for her to stay with her mother for now, while I take care of the children to provide them stability at home. My attorney is doing his job during this time. According to him, staying in the house is a big advantage for me. Also, I have not told my wife yet, but our marriage is over. She will find out when she has served divorce papers, which will happen very soon. I cannot get rid of obsessive thoughts about her and this man. I train fighters in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, both professionals and semi-professionals, and try to devote maximum attention to training. Physical activity helps me. Of course, I am also completely focused on the children. Outside of sports, my main outlet has always been self-education. I usually read for several hours every evening to relax, but lately I cannot even focus on one paragraph. After learning that they called me a dumb animal, I am afraid to imagine what else they might have discussed. This situation truly broke me. I was always a cheerful person, But now, joy has simply disappeared. On the other hand, after the truth came out, many people offered their help. This definitely gives a feeling of support. Several wives of my friends even started pushing me toward new acquaintances, talking about beautiful women who are interested in me, knowing I will soon be a bachelor. I do not plan to date anyone until this whole story is over, and likely for a long time afterward. But the very fact that I have some options is slightly comforting. I think I will cope in the end. Right now, the most important thing is the children. I will try to write a new update soon. My wife is desperate and begging to save the marriage. But I know I will never be able to forgive what she did, which means attempts to save the family will only delay the inevitable. Update 4. Life turned into chaos, but I decided to log into this account again and give an update on the situation. I learned that my wife cheated on me, and also found out that she considers me a dumb loser because I earn little. I filed for divorce, and it should be finalized next month. We agreed on 50-50 shared custody, and she will pay me alimony since her income is significantly higher than mine. That is the current legal situation. Now about the consequences. I am heartbroken, and my children are too. I never thought I would become a single father, but here I am. My wife seems to have fallen into depression. The man she cheated on me with reportedly decided she was not worth getting involved with. She started drinking and dating a bunch of random men she finds online. There have already been several cases where she called me and begged me to take her back to return to her old life. Part of me would want that, but I remained firm. When she found out how much money she would have to pay me every month, it seemed to only anger her. My children do not understand the whole situation. When they are not with me, I feel terrible. I am lonely all the time. I hardly spend time with friends, mostly just sitting at home. Even the girl at the coffee shop I often go to asked if I was okay because I look sad. Apparently, I am not hiding my emotions as well as I thought. Some acquaintances want to set me up on dates, but I do not want to because I feel like I am now that guy whose wife cheated on him. I was married for so long that I cannot even imagine how to start dating again. The only thing that slightly pleased me was the success of several of my fighters at a fairly high level, but overall, I still do not know what to do next. At some point, I need to pull myself together and move on. I just have not found the motivation yet. I asked an acquaintance to contact that man's wife and show her the evidence I had. I could not just leave everything without consequences for him. I could not go and deal with him personally, so this was the best option. At first, she did not believe it, but then I heard that serious problems started in their marriage. As far as I know, they are still together for now, but their relationship is on the brink. I feel enormous anger. It is insane to realize how life can turn upside down. The only thing that can be called somewhat positive is that I met a girl through friends who interest me. I have not asked her out on a date yet, but she is incredibly beautiful. However, she is about 14 years younger than me. I do not know if that is a big problem, but the age difference is quite significant. After what I have been through, my self-confidence has suffered greatly. I think she is too good for me. Perhaps that is true, but I often think about her, and it has occupied my thoughts for the last 6 months. I must say that I have never felt so bad in my life. I was always a happy person, but now there is only darkness and emptiness inside me. Final update. To put it briefly, I found out my wife cheated on me with a colleague, and after that I divorced her. We were together for about 15 years. Saying that my new life has been a test for me is an understatement. Sometimes waves of sadness and feelings of loss come over me, but they pass. Overall, I feel great. The children are fine and spend a lot of time with me. After the divorce, my ex-wife had to take on more work projects to pay for her new life alone, as well as alimony to me. She earned much more than I did. When the pandemic started, I had a flexible schedule, so I was able to stay with the children and handle their homeschooling. Since my job involves physical contact, the pandemic slowed it down significantly. Now my guys have few opportunities for competitions, so in a way, I became a stay-at-home dad. I gave myself time to recover after the divorce. The young woman I liked went on a long business trip to Europe. We kept in touch online. When her assignment ended, she returned, and we have been together ever since. She loves me and my children. She is incredibly caring and sensitive. Before we were introduced, I was told she was like Wonder Woman and that she was the kindest person in the world. I thought it sounded too good to be true, but she really is exactly like that. I think new steps in our relationship await us in the near future. As for my ex-wife, things are not going well for her. She started drinking heavily and dating men she finds online. Work pressure is also taking its toll. Over the past few years, she seems to have aged 15 years. She was always beautiful, but the last time I saw her, she looked exhausted, as if her life force had been drained. Strange to say, but that was my impression. Her best friend confessed to me that my ex is unhappy and has become impossible to talk to. I probably will never understand how a person who was happy and seems self-assured can slide into such a pit so quickly. Her friend also said that my ex never thought I would actually leave after the betrayal. I think she felt control over me because of her high salary, and the consequences of her betrayal turned out to be unexpected for her. I still hope she finds peace, at least for our children's sake. Overall, despite the difficulties related to the pandemic, I am doing well. I am very glad I ended my marriage immediately rather than trying to save it. At the time, it was a difficult decision, but I knew it was right. And then I just moved forward step by step. It is not hard for me to move forward little by little every day, knowing that sooner or later, I will get through it. If you find yourself in a similar situation, think long term. At first, you will be devastated. Then sadness will come, then depression, and then complete despair. But no matter what, keep moving forward. Exercise every day. The main thing is to do at least something every day that improves you or gives you new skills. Not a motivational speech, but a real skill. I got into video, filming, and editing, making short films about my fighters. This has become an interesting hobby for me. I read more books to learn something new. I just try to do something useful every day. Small steps eventually add up to a big result. The main thing is to work on yourself and be patient. Well, this story ends here. I hope it motivated many of you to engage in self-improvement, and we move on to another story. I found out my wife cheated on me with a rich man, but now it turned out he is married. I had just gotten out of a long-term relationship when I met my future wife. I was 34, and she was 35. The breakup was without drama. We just realized we were moving in different directions and decided it was better to break up. A few months later, I accidentally met a woman named Kathy. We talked in a cafe, exchanged numbers, and quickly found common ground. I immediately warned her that I had recently gotten out of a serious relationship and was not ready for something new yet. She said she would wait. At the time, that seemed amazing to me. I decided that if a woman was willing to wait, it meant she was truly interested in me. In the end, it turned out that was not the case. But at that moment, I felt I had met the right person. We moved slowly. After a year and a half, we moved in together, and another 6 months later, I proposed to her, and we started preparing for the wedding. Everything went smoothly. We were both financially stable. I earned well, as did she. We were not in the top 1% of the world's richest people, but we definitely belonged to the middle class. Our relationship turned out to be strong. There were ups and downs, but we were building a life together.